Okay, so hi, this is Coffee Code Repeat with another video tutorial. So today we're going to teach you how to write your first JavaScript script. So what this is going to do is just output a simple message to your browser using JavaScript. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is open up a basic text editor. Here I've opened up Sublime, which is a really great tool, especially if you're trying to get into coding. It's really useful. But for now, you can just open up Notepad or any other text editor you have. So let's dive into the code here. So what you're going to have to do to make this work with a JavaScript file is you're first going to have to create an HTML file. So you're going to have two files, your HTML file and your JavaScript file. We're going to start with HTML, which is essentially the body of your web page. It's the content, it's the physical, the paragraphs, the writing you write, the basic lists you create, and then the JavaScript is the more dynamic aspect and the interactive aspect. So say I want to start a website, what I'm going to put on it is in the HTML file, I'll have everything that I've written, all my blog posts and my content, and then in my JavaScript, I'll have everything that handles mouse clicks. So if I click on a button and it looks like it's depressed, or all the spinning wheels, or any keystrokes that it wants to log, or animations, those are all JavaScript. Okay, so start with the HTML file. You're going to first write this standard header that's kind of just at the top of HTML files, just declaring it as an HTML file. And then you're going to write these two tags. And then everything in between is basically what you would, where you would put all your HTML content. Okay, so we're going to save this really quick. My first JS dot HTML. Make sure you save it as .html, and then you save it to a directory so you don't lose it. So just make sure you know where you save it is what I'm saying. So I'm going to save it to desktop. Okay. My first JS.html. Okay, now I'm going to create a new file. This is going to be my JavaScript file. And this is where I'm actually going to write the code to output the message that I want to my browser. So you do that by writing document.write, and then anything that goes in between those quotations, in between these parentheses, is going to be written to the console, or not to the console, to the screen. So I'm going to write, look ma, I know how to JavaScript. Lots of enthusiasm there. Okay, so, and then you're going to write your semicolon right there, don't forget that, and save this as my first JavaScript .js. Make sure you save it as a .js file. And then I'm going to save it in the same exact place that I saved my HTML file, and then I'm going to click save. Okay, cool. So those are both done. Now I'm going to go back to my HTML file, and so there's something I have to insert here. So this basically just says there's a script that I want you to run, and this is where you look for it. So I titled my JavaScript file my first JS.js. So I'm going to write that there. Make sure you include the extension, and also it's case sensitive. So I have this JS in all caps. So you have to make sure that's caps if you wrote it all caps. Just case sensitive. Good to know. And then you're going to close that. Write this. Okay, so now your HTML file knows where to look when it is trying to run this JavaScript script. So you're going to save that, and then go to wherever you saved it. I saved it on the desktop. Okay, so now you're going to click on the .html file. Okay, let me just bring this into view. And boom, there it is. There's the output we were looking for. You have successfully used a JavaScript script, which you created, to output something to a browser. So, good job. Give yourself a pat on the back, and keep learning. So like, comment, subscribe. Just let me know if you have any feedback. I'm always looking to learn just as much as you guys are. And yeah, until then, coffee code repeat.